Jeanie's
I
having
need to have
trouble dialing in.
So
I made it this time.
But I got it.
There she is.
Oh,
there she is. All
there's
right.
her
Bless
sweet
her.
voice.
Have a wonderful show.
Have a blessed one. Lots of love. Alrighty, bye-bye.
Oh, man, that was challenging. So, welcome, everybody, to the second hour of Mindshifters Radio. Today is Monday, April 17th, 2023, and our call-in number, hopefully it works for everybody else, is 563-999-3581. And press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. And we would love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. So, welcome, Michael. Are you there? You're talking, but I'm not hearing you through the switchboard. I can hear you through the wall.
See you through the wall, but not through the window. Okay.
Yeah, there you are.
No, that was just my mute button.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, hopefully everybody else can get dialed in easier than I did. I had to do it like 5 times, and it wouldn't even ring through.
Strange.
But we're here.
We are, for sure. So welcome, everybody. Delighted and honored that you're here. We'd be rocking along. Jeanie went out and yesterday went like a child of 4 to play at Dollywood and ride on bears and trains and all kinds of things. Tell us about it, Jeanie.
Well, it was awesome. It was a friend of mine that we had not been able to get together for some time, and I picked her up at 8:30 yesterday morning, and I think we talked until 8 o'clock last night. But it was a fun day. We talked a lot and rode just a few rides, not very many, nothing wild, and watched a lot of shows. But it was just a good time getting with a friend and getting re-energized and doing something that I didn't have to think about. Just had fun.
Yes, you've had so many details to handle. It's been crazy. And I acknowledge you for the energy and the stick-to-itness you've had to handle all those details with me having been out of town and coming back and Dad passing and funeral and brothers and sisters and family vacation or family gathering. Just all of it's been pretty bizarre. But here we are, and appreciating the fact that we are in the world, the one between our ears and the one of actuality, and hopefully becoming more and more attuned to that actuality and willing to drop the one between our ears that seems so insistent that we have to live according to its dictates. That we can weaken its voice through forgiveness, that is perception's voice, and bring a new mind into awareness. So pretty sweet process in doing it. I was talking, well, let me check first if we've got, see if we've got anybody with a hand up or anything happening in the chat room, sweetie, or any questions from the app before I move into this other topic.
Well, we have a young lady that we were working with on Friday, and she's on the switchboard.
Oh, awesome.
Cecilia.
Yes. Let's come back to Cecilia.
We were going to complete her worksheet. So welcome, young lady.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
How has
and
your weekend gone?
So glad you're there.
So am I.
If you've ever crammed for exams that you didn't study for, I've been doing it all weekend with these worksheets, and I listened to the show over and over again. I took notes. I just to get it actually. I wanted to get it so, and I feel like I've more than I ever have gotten it from knowing you guys for a long time, like I have.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the seemingly insane idea of canceling a goal for the very result that you want, until we get how the mind works. I mean, it's just bizarre to do that. And then once you understand and you get to drop into those deeper and deeper levels, it's just, it's amazing. And all the beliefs that we can hold in our mind, all the things we've been shown and taught that are true only in the world of perception. And we've been fooled into thinking that what perception shows us could possibly be the truth when we really recognize it for what it is all perception is a reflection of something from the past. And to really truly come alive in this moment, independent of perception, it's quite a task. It's quite a journey to make.
I was watching a video of you. I was watching a video of you explaining forgiveness. It was a outside the box thing.
Right.
Okay. And
the medical interview I did with the medical office up in Kingsport. Yep.
No. This is a young guy, and his last name is Rogers. I forget his first name.
Yeah, his dad is a medical doctor, and he's I think he's the CEO of their medical clinic, and he does that as part of their. That's how we got connected with him, through their medical clinic, and him wanting information on the forgiveness process and how it ties in with the Avicen and all. What clicked for you as you were watching that?
Oh, everything. So my mind likes to take a million notes because when I hear it, I can't really hear. You were talking about the ear when you first started the show. You know, my hearing is trying to get tuned into what everybody's saying. And I've heard you say this stuff, and I've known you guys since I was probably
been a long time.
Yeah. So and I can get a little bit here and there, and it's deep stuff. You know, so even hearing it again, I like the fact that he I mean, he's really, really like, I can tell he's just wide open to hear everything that you're saying. And I just still have to feel like a beginner a lot of times. What I hear you say.
You know, over 50 years of working with people with this directly, my take is that if someone's sincerely doing their work, it takes 5 to 10 years to begin to understand what we're talking about. And I'll offer that for me, you know, and I say this often, I feel like the most important work and insights that I've had have happened to me in the last 2 years, and I've been doing this for 50 years. And it's like, I can remember a point back a few months ago, it's like, oh, I'm finally starting to understand. It's like, So it's definitely a process. And
but I'll tell you, it's so much nicer to finally go, hey, I think I'm getting this. I think I'm getting this. You know, and then
exactly.
Yeah. To me, it's like, all right. Sitting here this weekend, cramming for my doctorate exam. You know.
Right.
You know, so no, it's been worth it, and I can tell you wanted me to do a worksheet on, at least I think you wanted me to do it, but then I think you wanted me to wait until today to go over the worksheet when at the very last minute of Friday, when I was sharing, you had said, now I want you to say you canceled the goal to your house selling, but with sincerity. And I'm like, that bugged me, right? So then,
and
go ahead.
And you've never been bugged before, right?
Oh, no, I'm always bugged. I feel like, you know, they say some people are really sensitive, and I used to think that, but some people really don't want to deal with actuality, and that would be me, right? So,
that's true.
But I do want to deal with it now. And when you were saying that about, I said, I was trying to prove to you or me or somebody that no on Friday. I said, I wouldn't lie to my true self, and I thought I would fall for that, right? And so I really thought about it over the weekend, and I thought, no way. I have used I'm like, I don't use any drugs or anything or alcohol or anything. There was a time in my life I did use alcohol, but that was like at 30 it stopped, right? But I didn't stop piling goal upon goal upon goal I could never reach, and then I had another goal, and still the other goal didn't cancel that one to achieve things, right? So that it didn't have to go underneath what those goals are bringing up for me, okay? So I feel like that was my addiction for the last 35 years, is the goals that I used to avoid at all costs dealing with what was underneath them and what came up with them.
Yeah.
So with that, I realized that I do lie to my true self. Okay, I don't even let myself be my true self. So of course I'm going to lie to my true self. I don't even believe it. That I wouldn't lie now, because I've got to do work to get underneath all this stuff, give up the goals, and deal with what's under them. And cool, I'm finally willing to do it. I'm finally willing to get sober from all these goals, right? I mean,
awesome.
I know we're supposed to probably have good goals too, but anyway. So
well, two things about goals. Is one, once you set one in your mind, there are only two ways to get rid of it. You either accomplish it or you cancel it. And so most people live under so much stress because they've got literally a lifetime of goals, and they've got an avalanche of goals from their genetic history. Every unachieved goal of anyone in the bloodline is still in our genes if it's never been achieved or canceled. And that's why oftentimes people will say and do crazy things. And when you say, well, why did you say? Oh, I don't know. Somewhere in there was a goal that drove the mind to pop that crazy thing out that doesn't even sound like me. And when I get acquainted with that and I start to cancel those goals, and the other thing to get is the goals are wonderful. They're an awesome thing to have. It's just if we don't manage them properly, we end up under such enormous amounts of stress, and we lose our sanity.
So my goals
when all that stress is active
generated a lot of terrible feelings, right? There are goals that a lot of them generate terrible feelings, but that is again a gift to heal those things underneath it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the goal to sell the house is still just a surface goal, because the real goal that's underneath that's creating the stress has more to do with survival, has more to do with I have to have enough money. I have to be able to survive. I have to be able to pay my bills. And, well, it seems counterintuitive to go, so I'm going to cancel my need to pay my bills? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to cancel my need to survive? But that's ridiculous. Not if I have a file in my mind on survival that's filled with drama and trauma and death and suffering, because whenever I load a goal into my mind that resonates that file, then I'll go into that pain and trauma of death and suffering. So I cancel the goal, not because there's anything wrong with the goal for survival, but to clean out that file in my mind so that I'm not playing in the arena of past unresolved energetic patterns.
Yeah.
And then, so there's so many levels and so many layers to it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be playing with you with that again.
From on this? do you ever take a vacation from going to?
Well, usually when we go on vacation, it's to go to the next level of doing our work. Although we did have a family vacation just a couple of weeks ago, and two of our sons and their wives showed up with babies, and there was a lot of really sweet and awesome baby time. And my brother also came and visited, and that was a whole week of just playtime. And the only goal I really needed to cancel pretty much throughout the whole week was when my son was leaving and our granddaughter, who's now 6 months, was the goal to say, well, Michael and Jamie, you cannot take that baby home with you. That baby's coming to Bristol with us. Had to cancel that goal. Just like got to a new level of connectedness with this little one at 6 months. That you just look at her and grin, and she just feeds back the biggest grin, and the arms and the legs are going, and the excitement and all that. So it was a pretty sweet week.
Yeah. So that's, I'm just reporting back that I've been working on my stuff that we talked about on Friday, and I'm just glad I am. That's all. And I
Cool.
still cancel my goal for my house to sell. I haven't heard from my realtor. And I'm not feeling a heck of a lot of stress about it.
Good.
I don't know.
Well, and clearing that out, you get to recognize that, that's not the source of your wealth. The source of your wealth is connection to being and creatorship. And so, in that space, you can open many pathways for the wealth that you need to come to you. It doesn't have to be limited to that one. That
Right.
Until we resolve the trauma, it keeps jumping up in our face and getting our attention and pulling us out of what we really are as creators.
Well, meaning that I don't have to hang on to the house selling to feel the wealth of the kingdom of heaven.
You got it.
Yeah.
And that, Yeshua talks about it, and he says, so when you get that, and actually the words the kingdom of heaven are very mistranslated from the Aramaic. It's the community of love. Once you tap into and live as love in a community of love, then what he says, then all things are made unto you. Now you're restored to your creative power, and you're not limited to that one source that you thought it had to come from. Doesn't mean you can't have it from that source, but you also realize that, all things are made unto you, and you go to a whole different place of centeredness and peace and creativity.
Yes.
Cool. Well, is there a piece of work to do today? Any particular question that's up that we can support you with, or where to go from here?
Well, just what you said just a second ago. I'm like, I still had a bill double in Phoenix that I found out today. It doubled my power bill, and I'm like, but I'm not living there. And the girl couldn't tell me why at the power company, and so I felt some, like fear in there, like I'm not even living there, and it started coming up again. The house is not selling. And when is this going to stop? And so I could work through that with you,
Okay.
So, all right.
And of course, on a practical level, have you got somebody you can go and visit the house and see if there's something, did the realtor leave and leave the heat up at 90 so it's running continuously?
Yes, I was going to call her and with that exact thought. But I didn't feel compulsive about calling her when that came up. I thought, I'll get around to it. I'll ask her. But I was really wanting to prepare myself for the show and get clear about everything that I've worked on. And
sounds like you're getting clear of living in crisis. Yeah, it sounds like you're getting clear of living in crisis. When I think back, if you remember that first worksheet back, and I think it was Dayton back, what's that, 25 years ago, and I gave you the hat. And life was crisis, and we've touched it a few times over the years, and so maybe you're just finished with having to do life out of crisis and just do it out of a centered, connected space of peace. I know you've worked in many arenas to bring that forward, so it sounds like maybe you're getting there.
Well, we can work on what came up for me with that $20 more a month of a house I'm not even living in or using, and I don't know why the power doubled. So I will clear that up with my realtor. I don't know if I have to do a worksheet on it. I just I don't know. I mean, Surely I want
Well,
to
I
know
may,
that.
yeah, I may have to do a worksheet on your power bill if your power bill doubled and it's only increased by $20 a month. I wish I had a power bill that could double and would only increase by $20 a month. You know, we haven't been in Heartland in 4 years now because of COVID, and our average electric bill is still $500 a month.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the process.
Okay. So maybe I would like to tell you that this is why I didn't want to connect with when you would call the 6 times that I just dropped out of the picture. Is that the stuff that I was taught, and I was so attracted to the teachings, the spiritual teachings, that they meant the world to me. I never heard such stuff, and sometimes you say things that are almost exactly like it, but it takes a different turn to it, different wording,
right.
different, and of course, everybody's going to have different stuff. Everybody's on their own evolutional sphere, or wherever, and so. But when I hear it, I start to get confused. Like, oh no, now I don't know. I mean, I did fall in love
It's one
with
of the steps
all
in
these
healing.
teachings. It's what?
Confusion's one of the steps in healing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
if you're in let's say a limited space, and all of a sudden comes unlimitedness, you have to open that limited space, and whatever's in it's going to start to move, and it's going to create confusion. That's just a part of the healing process.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you know, it's interesting if you look at the Course in Miracles, it talks about how there are no answers.
Yes.
There are tools with which you can create an experience. But if we're looking, you know, words, you know, the Course talks about what? One, perception is a construct of the mind. Words represent the constructs of the mind, perceptions. So let's say there's an actuality in the world. Let's say a person. And so that person stands in front of me, and my brain generates an image called a body. And I think that person is a body. When if I could see who that person really was, I'd see this whirring mass of electrons, protons, neutrons, light, and who knows what else. But I limit it to a body, a perception, a construct in my mind. And so what the Course talks about is, so that's a symbol of actuality, that construct that I call a body in my mind. Then I name the body, Harry, Bill, Joe, whatever. And now I have a symbol in my mind of that person, what I call a body, and then I have a name that is a symbol of that body. So now I'm 2 generations away from the actual experience. The Course and all of this work isn't trying to set it up so that we can explain the truth of anything, because words are symbols of symbols twice removed from what's actually true in the world that the Creator created. So, because for the words is to guide us into the tools that open the space for that direct connection. The experience, not the answer, the experience.
Yeah.
And if we give words any other power, we give words the power to describe the truth, we're lying to ourselves. Because symbols of symbols are never going to represent what the actual truth is. But if I'll use the tools to collapse perception, then I can go more deeply each time into a direct experience, until that person who's standing in front of me, I now, without access to my senses, have a direct experience of that person. Now we've got real life, now we've got real relationship, and now we're actually alive.
So when you say
then
direct
the trick
relationship,
is,
go ahead.
Yes.
No, you go ahead. The trick?
Well, so then the trick is to maintain that live actual connectedness with that person, when perception wants to come in, when they step on our psychic dose or our psychological dose, and perception wants to come in and go, oh, look what they did to me. Rawr. How do I maintain my aliveness when the past holds unresolved pain?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. So then Yeshua comes along with this tool of forgiveness. So here's how you collapse into the root of your pain, so that you can bring your pain, the Course says it really clearly, it says, bring the world you do not want, the one of pain, to the one you do, to the active presence of love. And when those two things meet, whatever's not true about what I hold to be true begins to dissolve. And that's where the confusion happens, because yesterday I was able to hold on to this post and go, this is actuality. This is it. And then I realized, no, that's just another construct in my mind, and I can't hold on to that one. And that's where, confusion becomes a part of the healing process, as each time you go into deeper experience of yourself as your created essence, the truth of who you are, and the same thing with the people around you.
Mm-hmm. Are you
And
experiencing other people when you drop all your perceptions and all that? Are you experiencing them as who they really truly are? Love? Is that what you mean?
That's it. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's one of the lessons my granddaughters most efficiently taught me. Is that in order to support her, in order to play the role of her grandfather, as a grandfather should be in her life, that the only job I have is to stand in and connected as a space of love, and only see that about her, so that out of that space I can help to draw her into her body, mind unit, into this world as an awake, aware human being called love, living through a structure, rather than, either her or I reacting out of old traumas, unresolved generational patterns in her or me, and playing that out again. Like, that's not my place. It's not what life is or what life is about. But to really just see her as who she really is. And if her body, her mind, or her mouth do something that resonates something less in me, my job is to move through that fast so I get back to being the space of love for her. Being a human being.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I wonder how many people do that with their children or their grandchildren. Hopefully a lot more than I know.
Hopefully, I sure join you in it, and that's why I put it out every once in a while. I'll just post, I've kind of written that what I've learned from my granddaughter up, and I'll post it on Facebook and invite other people to just realize, to some degree, I knew this when I was a father, when my kids were small. Certainly not I wish I had known it when they were small to the degree that I understand it now. But I didn't. I wasn't that far along in my own personal growth and my own personal process.
Yeah.
So now one of my purposes is to put it out there so that people can at least conceive of, gee, I could be going in that direction. Well, gee, my family system says, well, what I'm supposed to do when they do something they're not supposed to is yell at them and correct them and make sure they do it right. That's what my family system always did. That's what I thought was proper. And now I realize how insane that is.
Yeah.
But that's the state of our minds, and hopefully as more and more people jump on board. Yeshua, the physicist, said a little leavening leavens the whole loaf, and he wasn't talking about bread. He was talking about us as human beings, that when enough of us actually show up as love, the leavening that changes everything in the world, everything in our physiology, everything in our mind, our emotions, our relationships, and in the world. But the leavening has to show up, and to do that, we need to realize who we are. That's why the first line of the worksheet now is, and that's a new addition since last time I think you were around the worksheet, is I proclaim who I am, who am love. Like, starting off with that, because the world hasn't, that's not what the world's told us we are. At least not many people I've ever met were told. Well, actually, not anybody I ever met was told that.
Right. I wasn't either. But, you know, like I said to you on Friday, besides your work, I do a lot of other work. And the spirituality groups of people that I've been connected to here, you know, but they don't do any, you have to really, really like meet requirements get inside this inner circle so that you can learn all these yoga, healing things and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I haven't gotten that far. Anyway, but so I reached outside to, like, the topic is Satchitananda, okay, being consciousness and bliss. That's who we are, right? All right, okay. You get Satchitananda, word, Satchitananda. It's being consciousness and bliss, being bliss, okay? So when I was 30, part of my thing to stay sober instead of going into AA was listening to this tape by Sri Swami Satchitananda, who was the guru of Woodstock, okay? He showed up there when Woodstock was going on. I was for Woodstock. Okay, but anyway, I found him when I got sober because I said I can't go to AA because I have all these issues. I'm going to be abused. So they said, just go to a bookstore and find something that talks to you. And I found this cassette tape that says, find inner peace meditation. Okay. So one of these things on that tape I wrote out, and it's a goal, okay? But I didn't stick with that goal. I didn't know about good goals then, and I had too many bad goals I wasn't dealing with. I mean, not bad goals, but wasn't wanting to have any goals because I didn't like what came up for them, you know. And I didn't know how to deal with it at that time. But this goal lately is that self every night and every morning before I go out and am around people. You were talking about being being who you are, nature, love, when you're around your granddaughter. And I want to be around, I guess I need more worksheets, but I want to be, and I feel like I've been successful being around the neighbors or my daughter or whoever. And I have this goal that I got from that cassette tape that I got out not that long ago. And it goes, the goal is to realize, this is what he says on it, the goal is to realize my true nature, to realize my peace, my happiness, my godliness. I am the image of God. Always remember my goal. If I understand my goal and dedicate myself to achieving it, I won't get disheartened by failures. The very interest in achieving the goal will take me to it. My spiritual practice is the golden key to open everything, health, wealth, strength. So I would say that every day and even carry it with me so that I would, you know, if my mind forgets it, I just would. What do you think about a goal like that?
Well, actually, there are at least a dozen goals in there. And, you know, goals are wonderful. That actually sounds more akin to a vision than a goal to me. There are goals included in the vision. And so if there's any particular aspect of that I'm holding to, and my mind goes into some form of hostility or fear, then I'm going to cancel that goal and process the underlying hostility or fear. Cancel the goal, process the underlying hostility or fear until I can hold that goal, put it in my mind, and there's simply manifestation, because there's nothing left in me, right down to and including in my bloodline, my genes, that goes against that goal.
Okay.
You know, to be a creator, we have to have goals. Goals are wonderful things. We're not ever suggesting you cancel a goal because there's something wrong with the goal. You cancel a goal because you recognize when you load it in your mind, it resonates something in your mind that's less than love that needs to be processed through.
Yes. So you said this didn't sound like a goal. It sounded like what?
That sounds more like a vision. You know, you go back to the Aramaic scriptures and it talks about, without vision, my people perish. If you don't have a vision of the highest possibility for your life, then what do you have to turn to but the generational patterns of the past?
Okay, thank you.
And if the vision brings up pieces that need to be healed, then great. Step in, heal them, restore the vision. Step in, heal them, restore the vision. Step in, restore the goal if there's a particular goal, until you can load it in your mind and there's nothing in you that goes against it. Now it's a creative act. It's now a creative statement that you're about bringing into form in the world.
Okay, so the other place I get a goal from is I've been involved in Dr. Abraham Lowe's mental health through will training, manager, what is it called? Who cares? Anyway, but he was a neurophysicist, psychiatrist in the 20s and 30s, okay? And he was
right.
in mental, do you know who he is?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
So he did this body of work that he got kicked out of his own psychiatric practice in a psychiatric hospital in Chicago because it was too way out for everybody, right? He has this way to train people how to change your thoughts, but he doesn't go in and talk about canceling the ones that cause any problems, and replacing them with secure thoughts, right? And so not only does he not have you deal with what comes up when you're saying all these thoughts, he's an interesting person to check out. Anyway, is that you don't talk about the past. It's like the present is the past. Deal with what's going on now, So I just thought you might have heard of him because I questioned to myself if this is really good for my mental health. But the premise and the goals of that organization called Recovery International is the goal is our supreme goal is mental health. Our supreme value is outer peace, and our supreme method is self-discipline. So, the more I get into all the other kinds of work like yours, the more I question, is that really what helped me or what? Anyway.
Well, my take would be it sounds like a step up from what's happening in the world. It was interesting. Last night, Jeanie and I watched a video. There's a medical doctor who deals with trauma, and someone who I've worked with to some degree had sent me a link to a movie that he's created, and it's about dealing with trauma and addiction. And it was really, quite powerful, except that the whole premise, right in the opening minutes of the film, he lays out a premise, and the premise puts the cause of everything outside of us. So the whole premise of the film starts out with denial, and he goes through it. And he's doing some powerful work in the world. He's really touched a lot of lives. But as we went through, recognizing that forgiveness is the ultimate tool for removing what never belonged within us. We listened to an hour and 25 minutes of this movie, the whole film, and the word forgiveness wasn't used once. But there was a lot of focus on the drama and trauma of the addicted mind. And he's opening people up to a level beyond what most everybody's doing. And it sounds like that's exactly what that psychiatrist was doing. But that doesn't mean it's the end all of the be all either.
No, I know. I hear you. Because
and for me,
if I stare and say something about the past, they go, Cecilia, you're not allowed to talk about anything like that because you have to go by what Dr. Lowe's teachings are. And I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, except that whatever it was from the past that's coming up now is now the present, and it needs to be processed and dealt with.
Yeah.
That's an important part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So, to me, and I wish I had been the one who invented and made up and figured out and brought to the world originally the process of forgiveness, but I realized that mine far, 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 far superior to mine, this man Yeshua 2,000 years ago, had it had it down pat. And he offered it to the world. And like your psychiatrist friend, they kicked him out because, nobody wants to look at the generations of rage and fear and hate and pain and trauma that we all carry. So any true body of work, anything that's really going to open that space, most people are going to go into resistance to, and they're going to turn and run the other way. So I understand how he got kicked out of his own institution.
Yeah.
Because when you start telling people, and this is essentially what Yeshua does, over the years, why I've watched people run away, you're going to have to face everything in you that's unlike love, and you're going to have to work through it. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you never do that, then the present will always be an effect of your past.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, what people do is they live the past over and over and over and over again, calling it the present. And one of the markers for the fact that that's what we're doing is love is not present in us. It's not active. There's a reason they call it the present, because whenever you're there, there's a gift, the presence of active love. And if that's not there, then we're in the past, even though I look at and I say, well, this is the conversation I had with Bill right now. It's live. It's present. But if I'm playing that all out from a past unresolved trauma that I'm projecting into my brain's image of Bill, I'm just doing the past over and over and over again. And, that's the essence of my book. Why is this happening to me again? Because that's what most people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So nice to have you jumping on the bandwagon and going for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really think yours is the most powerful teachings that I have, wandered around on this planet to find.
Well, and I won't proclaim their mine. I give full credit to where they came from, and that's Yeshua.
You are bringing them here,
I am bringing them this time around. Yes, and the way they're correlated, I'll hold responsibility for that. But the original idea was his, and the objective is to make it universally available. That's the whole game. Every resource is dedicated to doing that. Whatever needs to be done, that's what we're going to do.
I ask you a question. Since you've been doing this for how many years, it doesn't matter, but do you notice more and more people are gravitating to grab onto these teachings? Since
2,000%. I look back at the early days traveling. I mean, I started out on the road 50 years ago, better than 50 years ago. And, I can't tell you how many places, like, are you crazy? This is insane. And, as the years unfolded in the later years, it didn't matter where you went. Into even the smallest town in Berg, there was the Alternative Healing Center, and there were people asking the question and thirsty for the answer. So I've seen a tremendous shift in the desirability of the work, and when people start to enter into their own darkness and access it, I understand why people run away, because that's not an easy thing to do. And that's one of the reasons why we do the radio show every day, is so that there's a way for people to stay connected with the conversation and to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So I was delighted you're on the team.
I'd like to do a radio show like Michael and be like Michael and help bring this this healing into the world. And I'm like, Michael's doing that. Maybe I'll come up with something.
So there's probably a Unity Center or a Science of Mind Center not far from you. Start a study group with the tools. Start a Zoom study group with the tools.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But
Go
don't
for
you do all that anyway with Zoom and with you did with Unity and you did with, I don't know who else you did it with. Is that how you did it?
Yeah. I mean, basically what we did until we stopped traveling to come and take care of Jeannie's dad when he got sick about 4 years ago. I've been on the road for over 40 years, and basically I went anywhere on the planet I was invited. We paid our own expenses, and our workshops were free.
Okay.
That's basically what we did.
Okay.
And so we're shifting that into Zoom, and, we do have some self-study intensives that people can purchase as a way of supporting us, and, we're here to give it away. Whether people have money or not is irrelevant. That's always been the thesis behind it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, they can also do some work that is, healing also for me. Hello, but I'll just keep sitting with it and let it guide me because I feel it's very, very strong in me. I have
Sweet.
such a
Awesome.
All right, well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a blessed one. Okay. Extending love in your direction. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, Miss Jeanie. Actually, Jeanie, you must have your mute button pushed, sweetie.
Hello.
Jeanie?
Jeanie's not here, but Roma is all of a sudden.
Okay. Jeanie, you must have your mute button on, honey. You're not coming through. Oh, you're not there. Okay, she's going to have to call back in. Hey there, welcome, young lady. How are things in Hawaii?
Oh, my goodness. Well, most people call today Monday, right?
Well, in some places it's that, yes.
Yeah.
What is it over there?
Well, I just renamed it. Today's Giggle Day. Last day.
Oh, go for it. Hey.
I have giggled and laughed so many times in the last 51 minutes listening to you, and I was delighted to hear your guest. I'm wondering if I knew her because she and I have Satchidananda in common. I was there in the very beginning when he came to New York, and so
Really?
blessed. I've been blessed. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Sweet.
Yeah, I remember we were doing the you pick up your chin and then you curl your spine upward. And your hands are right below your shoulders and your forehead's on the ground, and you start looking up and raising your neck, and suddenly I saw orange. All I could see was orange, no matter how far I brought my head up. And then at the top of that beautiful vision of Satchidananda's gorgeous face and long, beautiful white hair. Oh, my gosh. Exquisite, nice memory. I'm just very, very
Sounds
happy.
like it was a sweet experience.
Oh, very, very. But life is a sweet experience for me nowadays. And
It's
I'm
a
not
gift.
kidding. I just keep laughing. Today's the last day,
Sweet. Awesome.
Oh, it's wonderful. And something did get triggered for me about 20 minutes ago, having to do with pain regarding relationship. Because I would love to
Right.
have a relationship in my life, a love relationship, and I don't. And when you were discussing that with what was the name of the last guest?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you were discussing that, I suddenly looked inside and I saw I've pain, fear. I'm afraid of relationship now because
So notice where you're holding your physiology tight. Notice
well,
that
my
just
throat
above your palate.
choking.
Yeah, your throat. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What does that mean?
So,
does that mean?
well, it means that's where you're closing up and holding on to that pain. So I'm going to invite you to just breathe into that space.
I stop myself from crying.
Yeah. Well, that's where you've created a veil. That's where you've created a veil.
Right in my neck, yeah?
Yeah.
In my neck? Yeah, really.
So you want to breathe into that and maybe take one of Satchidananda's poses that was designed to open the tissue around the neck and the head.
Right, exactly. That's the one I was just describing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So maybe it's time to get back to that practice and add it to your daily work.
Yeah, I haven't been taking great care of myself. I'm going to be 80 in a couple of months, and
All right.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Rolling space for an awesome eternal day for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I love hearing you talk about the babies, the experience of babies in your life. It's so beautiful.
It was difficult to allow my
Right.
son to take his daughter home. It was like, no, she
Yeah,
should
I
be
know
coming
you
with
were
us.
saying that. I so understand. Oh my gosh.
And I was saying it half jokingly and half seriously. It's like, Michael, you need to pick up and move to Bristol. And his wife has 6 brothers and mom and dad, so, not likely that's going to happen. And we've got Aria, and not likely
You
we're
were
going to be
saying
moving.
that to your son, Michael J?
Yeah, kind of jokingly, but seriously, like, this kid's supposed to be coming with us, not going with you. It's like I just created a whole new level of connectedness.
Is Michael J
with
still
her.
in Kansas City?
Yes.
Where is he now?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's up in north. He's about 10 minutes south of the airport, and he's still working in the computer field. He left Graham's employ about 15 years ago, and he's gone with a major corporation, and he's kind of their head IT, dealing with. They've got offices all over the country, so he's dealing with setting up, security systems and phone systems and door locks and computer technology all across the country for this company, and all their salesmen and all they provide or they install refrigeration systems in trucks, so they're like a major organization, and they're awesome to him. He's, especially with the new baby and having gone through COVID, and his mom was ill and was on had a kidney failure and so was on anti-rejection drugs. So when that happened, when COVID came along, they just allowed him to go home and work at home. So he's been doing that now for 3+ years.
Yeah, well, that was nice. I knew Graham in my day when I was living in.
Right.
When I met you, it was at Unity Village, like 33 or so years ago, and Graham was one of my friends. Yeah. Nice to have things in common with other people.
For sure.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Well, I'm glad you're moving in the direction of joy and opening the next layer and the next level.
Well, yeah, and really the whole issue of love relationship is important for me to realize that. I guess I lock my neck is where I lock the feelings down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
Sounds like that's what it sounds like you identified. That's what it felt like from here.
Yeah.
And you seem to confirm it. So now are you ready to open it? How about a mind shifter?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I got
my pen handy.
Yep,
okay.
I do.
It's safe and healing, and I'm ready to receive.
Okay.
Awesome 5H relationship.
Ready. I'm ready to
receive an awesome 5H relationship.
What does 5H mean?
Oh, you don't know what a 5H relationship is? That's a relationship that's happy, healthy, healing, holy, and horny.
Okay.
5H. Go for it.
Oh, that's very sweet. Okay, happy, healthy.
Healing, holy, and horny. That's it. We were given the capacity for intimacy for a reason. It's one of the most vitalizing forces in the world.
Okay, I only got 4 of the H's. What was the healthy, happy, holy, horny? What was the other one?
Healing.
Oh, healing. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Beautiful.
So I start working with that mind shifter. Make sure you keep your breath open, and you're going to break through that lockdown that you've got in your neck and up into your sinuses and let that open, and then, the world is your oyster.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
All right, young lady.
Hey,
Well, the
God
phone's
bless
gonna cut us off
everyone
any
on the
second.
call and everyone on the planet and the whole one that we all are in the entire universe of existence.
All right, you have a blessed one. Take care.